Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 59 of our Get Your Goals annual challenge. Today we're talking about emotional impact on other life framework areas. And although this is a really nice list of the 9 areas of the life framework: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, contribution, communication, and confidence, this is what it really looks like, how they interact with one another. Every area impacts and interacts every other area and aspect of our life. That's why they're the framework that we use to decide how we want to show up in our life, how we want to change our life, how we want to set goals and improve in our life. Well, today we're going to talk about how our emotions, which is one of the key life framework areas, interact with the other different areas. And that's going to be our action item today. We're going to take each of the areas, and I just make myself a little chart. We're going to think about what is the positive emotion and the negative emotion that has the most impact on our physical well-being, our mental well-being. For me, I would say stress and frustration has the biggest negative impact on my mental well-being. On my physical well-being, doubt or fear would probably be the most negative one. Most positive for most of these would be love or excitement or adventure, whatever it is for you. We want to just think about what emotion is showing up most and impacting us the most physically, mentally, emotional, spiritually, etc. Each of our emotions are the core of everything that we experience. They influence everything we do. They're the first thing we notice whenever if physically in our body. It's the first thing our body picks up on before we decide what we're going to do, how we're going to behave, how we're going to act. There's different components to our emotions. I don't think we've really talked about this. There's the subjective, the how we experience the emotion. There's the physiological, how do we feel it and experience actually in our body, our physical being. And then how do we express it? What do we do? How do we behave? How do we respond to that emotion? Those 3 components are involved every time we experience emotion. Sometimes we won't act, right? Sometimes we don't act at all. I'll put my charts down. Sometimes we just do nothing, but most of the time we react and respond in some way, shape, or form. And it will how we deal with our emotions and getting control of that is one of the most powerful things we can do, or actually just understanding, recognizing, and deciding how we're going to respond to them. And you can do that in advance. You can sit down, you can make a chart of the emotions you feel the most often. You can think about, well, when I experience this, how do I experience it? What triggers it? And then how do I best want to respond to that? I've talked a lot this month about frustration, and in corporate America and in running my own businesses, I was frustrated a lot when I was younger. And then following my sudden cardiac arrest, I had to change a lot of the way I was responding to things, because the only person I can really control is myself. And so by changing how I respond and how I define things, it made me experience frustration a whole lot less than I did prior to that event, which was imperative for me to still be here talking today. So today our action item is to think about how we interact with each of the different areas and aspects of the life framework emotionally. And then we also want to talk about the final step in our goal setting, goal getting, goal achievement process for emotional well-being. And that is rewards and celebration. How are we going to reward ourselves and celebrate the milestones of achieving our emotional goals this year? How are we going to, and when are we going to celebrate the different steps along the way that we've broken down our emotional goals into along the way? That's our action item today. You can share either about your emotions, what you learned from doing this exercise of thinking about, and it's just a matter of thinking about how do our emotions impact the different areas and aspects of our life. I can think of how emotions affect my relationships really, really easily, because I can see and I can go back in my mind and I can play out some of the scenarios that worked out and went really, really well in my relationships, and then not so much, went pretty south in my relationships. All right. Any questions about this, hit me up. We'll be practicing this every month as we go through the different area and are focusing on a different area and aspect of our life. We will do this exercise where we think about, how does my mental well-being, how does my physical well-being, how does that play out in the other areas of the life framework? Why? Because the better we understand ourselves, the better we show up in the world. All right, have an awesome day. If I can help you in any way, ask. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow.